As promised, here's Adam's in-depth review of the latest in the F.E.A.R series from Day One Studios for PS3, Xbox, and Windows.
F.E.A.R 3 is the latest in the horror FPS series built on a mishmash of horror genre styles and solid FPS mechanics. The first two games in the canon series were fairly well received and brought about a twist in the horror genre. Can F.E.A.R 3 continue to scare us and make us grin with its gunplay? The story of F.E.A.R could be described as either genius or overly complicated, or perhaps both. It's a melting pot of Resident Evil and Silent Hill that both sets the game up for a creepy atmosphere and lots of jump scares depending on just how engrossed you allow yourself to get. This time around, we're back in the shoes of Point Man, now known to be the other of Alma's two sons. In a twist of events, it seems this time your brother Paxton Fettel is joining you in your journey to save an old friend and finish his job of saving the world from his mother and brother. Most of the story comes to you via in-between interval cutscenes, with some thrown into the middle of the action, which at times works remarkably well, but most of the time it falls a bit flat and seems a bit pandering as you're basically talked at by Fettel.
I never doubted you for a second.
If there's one thing I've always appreciated about the F.E.A.R series, it's been its ability to make you feel like a true badass. As Point Man in F.E.A.R and F.E.A.R 3, and even as Beckett in F.E.A.R 2, the heightened reflexability that you have at your disposal, along with amazing explosions, dismemberment, and of course your ability to absorb tons of punishment, can be the stage for some of the most amazing wow moments in FPS games.
Behind the barrel! Drop!
The AI makes you respect your enemy, but tight controls go a long way in helping keep you alive. You don't just have to go it alone, however. F.E.A.R 3 also gives you the option to wreak havoc online with a friend. As he is following you throughout the game, it is convenient for your friend to take control of your brother Paxton Fettel. Fettel comes with an entirely unique set of abilities as a psychic, and as such plays very different from Point Man. Co-op gives you both a score at the end of each interval, and the highest score is rewarded with being Mother's favorite. This system actually determines the ending of the game, and so adds a little something to playing with and against your friend. Surprisingly, F.E.A.R 3 also has several competitive multiplayer modes to round out its online suite. The modes are relatively unique in that they play on the game's lore, but in general boil down to variants on enemy waves, VIP, and raw point earning. The multiplayer is honestly better imagined than I expected, and more than I'm sure most would expect from a horror game, even if it is an FPS.
Thanks for the save. Thought I was a goner.
Graphically speaking, F.E.A.R 3 continues to deliver great quality that the series has had since its inception. Lighting in F.E.A.R 3, like the other games in the series, is the real champion here, and does an amazing job at helping set the mood and make things feel more true to life. The artistic styling bridges the Western-Eastern feel of its scare tactics, touching on lots of heavy atmospheric buildup and blood everywhere, which can feel a bit jarring, but when the game hits it right, it works really well. Overall, F.E.A.R 3 delivers another solid horror FPS for those who have enjoyed the series thus far. If you've never played a F.E.A.R game, then you might want to at least read up on the story to this point. The good news is that F.E.A.R and F.E.A.R 2 hold up really well even today, and so if you're interested and can find them, you can play them ahead of your time with F.E.A.R 3. F.E.A.R 3 isn't riddled with faults. In fact, it doesn't have a lot going against it. If it is guilty of anything, it's perhaps a bit too safe, and lacks the storytelling it deserves. Straddling the line between FPS and horror might have held it back from truly reaching the top of either genre, but for what it's worth, you're likely going to have a hard time not enjoying F.E.A.R 3 in some way.
Deuces. Ah, he's loose!
And that'll do it for us this week. Special thanks to the Last Game Store's Adam Perry, as well as Adam Strickland, the event staff at Barcraft, and don't forget to hit us up on Facebook and Twitter. We'll see you next time. Okay, so just... Can we even do like a sound effect? Like, well, that means to be seen with the dead. Ah.